Hello, everybody. Let's test this microphone so we can make sure that it works. Can you hear me speaking? Yes, hello, hello. 1, 2, 2. Testing, testing. Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? It's great to see you. Really fantastic to see you all. I'm still here. I can't believe it. I'm standing here, and I didn't really expect to be here on July 11th. So my apologies for extending my reign just a little bit here. Hello, everybody online. It's great to see you as well. So welcome to guests. We're going to be introducing our guests in a moment, but my name is Alain Barker, and I am the past president now of the Bloomington Rotary Club. Yes. And last Tuesday was our Independence Day. It's both independence for me from this role, and it was a grand day of independence for the United States of America. So please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all so very much. Great. So we're going to start off our program today with a reflection, as we always do. And I believe that the amazing and wonderful Charlotte Zietlow is going to give us her thoughts. And Mike Shermis is going to help out here.
First of all, welcome and goodbye to Alain. Not goodbye to all that. Anyway, we certainly have had a wonderful year with Alain there, and I'm very grateful for your imagination of imagining Rotary. You had lots of different ways to imagine. Interesting life you must lead. Anyway, I when several weeks ago, when Rosie and Sam came back from Chicago, they made such a clear statement of seeing this as community, that they came back from the big city where they did not feel welcome to Bloomington, where they did, and where they feel part of a community. So as you will not be surprised to know that I want to talk a little bit, reflect on the idea of community and Rotary. My husband, my father-in-law was a devout Rotarian in Buffalo and in Minneapolis, and always talked about it. We thought, oh, Rotary, yuck, old white men talking about sports, not very well. Anyway, but he was a wonderful guy, and he loved Rotary, and his work was in bringing groups together. National Conference of Christians and Jews. So he thought it was a perfect place for him to be. And when we moved to Bloomington, we lived over on 7th Street next to Bill Richards, and Bill Richards said, Paul, you should join Rotary. He was in the other club, in the Thursday club. He said, you'll learn to know people outside the university, outside the English department. So Paul joined Rotary, and he loved it. And he went and talked sports with the old white men, being one himself. So but he loved it, and the end result was we were the first family to take in a Rotary youth exchange person, and I realized what an important program that was, building community on an international scale at the youth level. What a wonderful idea. And so Rayleigh was with us for almost a year, off and on, with different hosts. And she's still in touch with me. I get calls and cards regularly. That was 1975. In 1978, my daughter, Rebecca, went to Brazil on a Rotary Youth Exchange program, and she had a wonderful time. It changed her life, as I think these programs do. And she went on to major in politics and Portuguese. She spoke Portuguese fluently. And then she went back to Brazil on a Fulbright a couple of years later to study the music there in concerts. But anyway, she actually wrote a paper, and her life was changed. And we really were grateful for that. But But of course, I had no access to Rotary myself, being just a woman. Are you asking me to talk louder? Okay, I'll try. When I ran for Congress in 1978, it was in the 7th district, 16 counties in Western Indiana. They all had Rotary clubs, none of which I was allowed to speak at.
Amazing.
Nor was I allowed to speak at the Elks or the Exchange or anybody else. I thought that gave me a disadvantage, and I got 45 points. Maybe I could have gotten 5 if I'd been at Rotary. So people have asked me, why did you join Rotary? And I say, out of spite. So when the Supreme Court made it possible for me to become a Rotarian, because men had been deducting their bills from they were tax deductible, and the Supreme Court, in its wisdom, not often felt, decided that women had to have access to the same tax liability. So I joined Rotary, one of the 6 or 7 first people in the spring of 1988, and I have loved it. And Rosie and Sam were just right. This has become in many ways a family for me. Just one of the programs and the fellowship and the variety of things that we have, it really make me feel part of the larger community. And I do think that in this day and age, in 2023.
23, yes.
Yeah. Building community is one of the most important things we should all be doing. And this is really a wonderful organization which believes in peace and freedom and equality and is an easy place to be. We have such interesting people in our club. I don't think we learn to know each other as well as we should. But Ellen has done, he's imagined any number of things that have brought us together, and our presidents have. And I really appreciate the leadership we've had in there to create always a larger community, and to think of it as bringing people together. Because the more I live in this community, and I've done a lot of things here, the more I realize everybody's connected to everybody else, and you got to be careful what you say.
Exactly. Yeah.
But also then you have to say, and then let's get together and talk about that. So this is an opportunity for us to affect the larger community in solving the issues that are before us. And there sure are plenty to go around. And I would just reflect that the whatever number of years, it's the 80, I'm not going to go into it now, 12, 34, 35 years I've been a Rotarian, have made me feel part of a larger community, and I hope everybody else does too. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Charlotte. And thank you so much for bringing me into this community. You're the reason why I'm here today. So thank you. Thank you so much. Great. So let us go ahead and invite Tracy Jovanovich to receive our guests, introduce our guests.
All right, we have quite a few guests. First of all, hopefully everybody learned something from Charlotte's talk. Don't mess with Charlotte. Okay, first of all, we have a couple of Rotary members. We have, and if you could stand when I call your name, Annie Hank. There we are. Hawk, sorry, I can't read the handwriting. And I was so worried about the other ones coming up. Annie Hawk, welcome. Clara Stanley, welcome. And then LB. There we go, LB, guest of Sandy Keller. And then from across the pond and then some, we have special guests, Judy Witt. We have Heike Voffenden and Oliver Voffender. And we're going to do, could you all please stand? And then Oliver, if you could come up, Alon is performing his last act of duty here, a flag exchange.
Well, thank you very much for having us as guests. It's a great honor. I'm just in the same situation as Ellen is. I just passed on my presidency to my successor a week ago on the 4th of July, and very fittingly, we had a Texas barbecue to go with it. So, my club is just on the outskirts of Hanover, Germany. It's about 2.5 hours south of Frankfurt, 2.5 hours west of Berlin, and pretty much in the middle of Germany. We have about 50 members, and we try to be a very active part of our community, which is part rural, part urban. And we try to support international projects as well. And we have survived COVID, and I can say with a lot of pleasure that initiative and activity has come back after COVID to my club. So that's all I want to say. We are vacationing here. We are longtime friends of Judy and Lee Witt for 30 years now, almost more than 30 years. We know each other, and we come here regularly whenever we can. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Marilyn Wood, I believe that you've got a few things that you'd like to say about Teachers Warehouse. And so while you come up, we can do that. It's so great to have international guests with us, always reminding us that Rotary International is such an important part of this world. So, Marilyn.
Hello there. So I know many of you are aware of the annual Teachers Warehouse Supply Drive, and it is on July 22nd. And many of you have already signed up, but I need more. So I have a list of places that are still open and available. We have about 11 slots. This is on July 22nd, which is a week from Saturday. And there are slots at each of the stores except Staples that we will be providing supply lists to the folks that are shopping and asking for their help in providing supplies to the Great Teachers Warehouse. This is one of the biggest fundraising efforts that you might call it in terms of supplies for Teachers Warehouse. So please, if you've had any trouble signing up, don't worry about it. I'll take your name and email and make sure that you're on the list. But please see me at the meeting or get in touch with me afterwards. Thanks.
Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you. Thank you. Well, here we are at the end of a year. Wow, what a year it's been. What an absolutely incredible year it's been. And to use an oft-used word that I perhaps have used way too many times, it's been amazing. It's been absolutely amazing, and you've all been amazing. In my opening remarks last year, I mentioned how apt this idea of imagining Rotary was for us at the time of coming out of COVID. So much of what we were thinking about as a club as we were sort of taking a deep breath into what might be our future. And it felt like an encouragement to us to be welcoming, inclusive, enjoyable as an organization, and a place where every member can feel complete, safe, and engaged. And I think in many ways, we've done that. We've been able to together enjoy a year together of fellowship with so many things that we can celebrate. I also spoke then about this whole concept of Ubuntu. It is a Zulu word. It also is a Xhosa word. It's also a Matibile word from Zimbabwe. And as I mentioned last year, it speaks to the essential human values of compassion and humanity with a deep sense of interconnectedness. I am what I am because of who we all are together. That's had a profound influence on my life all the way through everything that I've done. And I now realize that the word Ubuntu represents what Bloomington Rotary has become in its DNA, not just this last year, but as I get to know about this amazing organization, what I've come to know, an organization that flourishes because of who we all are together. And part of the sensibility is the word cloud you guys put together recently, a few weeks ago, focusing on the best parts of 22-23, which in so many ways wonderfully and amazingly represents who we are all together. This is such an inspiration, and I hope that we will keep this as part of how we feel and think about our future going forward together. And so as we look back on this past year, more than ever, my time in Rotary has become because of what we are together, with deep listening, inspiring projects, impressive programs, your generosity and an expanding set of relationships that we have with our community and around the country, I stand here in gratitude for what we've been able to do together. This is the first time that I've had the honor of leading an organization that is not only about the arts. Believe it or not, Rotary is about the arts, I like to believe, as Sally does and everybody else does, but it's also about so many other things. And I found the breadth of perspectives in all of you to be refreshing and invigorating. It's given me an opportunity to understand the world we live in from multiple points of view, perspectives that I don't normally have access to. So I want to thank you all. And as I start acknowledging a few people, I'd like to once again welcome and thank the many members of our club who have joined over the last few years, both as individuals and organizations. It's been amazing. With around 50 new members since January 2021, 50 new members, more than 50, you all make up fully 1/3 of the club. And you've already had a profound impact on the influence of who we are, and you're helping shape the voyage we are here to share together. So congratulations to you all. Okay, a standout example, and I'm going to ask Tracy to come up here, of the new member who jumped up with spirit, intelligence, and a great sense of fun is Tracy Jovanovic, whose last name I can now pronounce. She is being named the most impactful new member of 22-23. So please, another applause for Tracy Jovanovic. So let me shake your hand as well. In January this year, Tracy took on the leadership of the membership committee, as well as so many other things, from Dave Meyer, who we should not forget had a very successful few years in recruiting new members. Tracy, we're all thankful for your deep commitment to this important role in our organization. Your service, your energy, your creativity, your superwomanhood is great to have you with us. It's really very special. So thank you very much for everything. Okay, and here's your box. So next, I'd like to mention and thank another member of our club. His name is Michael Shermis. Michael Shermis. Michael, you have to come to join me here at the podium. With zest and laser focus on planning, Michael has enabled the program committee to knock it out of the park, all these metaphors, I'm sorry, this year with 42 programs, and I believe that they're going to be shared on the screen, with 42 programs that give us insights to the complex, inspiring, caring, and innovative world we live in. Our programs are the heart of our time together here every week. And so, Michael, you received the Presidential Award for Outstanding Service to the Rotary Club of Bloomington, Indiana. Thank you. Thank you. And then the next people that I'm going to thank, actually, I don't think, is Dave here? Sarah Laughlin? Sarah's here. Yay, Sarah's here. Okay, good. Oh my goodness. Well, here, this is very apt. So volunteerism, as you all know, is at the core of what we are as an organization, with service above self at our midst. And it's a perfect way of describing the truly outstanding work of the Community Service Committee. I've watched with awe and as our 9 projects have been planned and implemented this year, and I've enjoyed participating in a few of them. But there's one project in particular that will forever be etched in my memory. With superb organization and commitment, the Refugee Family Project that welcomed and introduced the Mohammadi family to Bloomington was co-led by Sarah and Dave Meyer, Sarah Laughlin and Dave Meyer. And for this, I would like to invite Sarah and David. Is Dave online? If he's not, I'll certainly get it to him. Oh, he's at the dentist. Okay. To receive tokens of our thanks, which is a set of, let me see here, a set of wooden coasters that read, Sarah Laughlin, in recognition of your exceptional service during the 22-23 year. So thank you. Thank you very much. I have one for Dave as well, so we can give that to him. So I mentioned 9 projects, but I'd like to remind us of the impressive numbers behind those 9 projects. There were around, and perhaps more than 85 participants, which included Rotary members, their colleagues, friends, and loved ones, bringing people in to participate in projects together. The largest number of volunteer hours by one member, can anybody guess who that member might be? Jim Bright, how about somebody else? Sarah Laughlin. Sarah Laughlin, she had 411 hours devoted to volunteerism this year. Unbelievable, really, really incredible. The total cumulative number of volunteer hours was 1,761 approximately, which converts through a Do Good Institute value per hour to $56,000 of giving in this community. So huge congratulations to all, and I would like to applaud everybody for doing that. So I want to take a moment to thank you all for the support that you've given to Rotary International. This has been a really important part of our year together as well. And I checked our total for the year this morning, and I'm delighted to report that we surpassed the $18,000 goal with flying colors. Congratulations. And it turns out that our total is $20,220, which turns out to be 2020 with a zero at the end of it, 2022 with a zero at the end of it, which is the year that we started this whole program, which was 2022. So isn't that, all those numbers line up? So my thanks to Peggy Frisbee, Mike Baker, and all on the Rotary International Committee for your stellar work this year, and as well as all of you who have been so generous in giving to Rotary International. Congratulations and thank you. So there's another very important person I'd like to mention today. This is somebody who's unfortunately not able to be with us, although he's normally always here and he's always everywhere. He attends all 3 Bloomington Rotary Club meetings. He goes to regular district meetings. He's everywhere. He's Mr. Rotary. We know who he is. Jim Bright. Jim Bright has been at my side. Okay, I'll take a breath here. It's just that South African thing going on. I don't know what it is. Anyway, this part of my personality that sort of gets all teary. Anyway, I've relied on Jim for counsel. He's never failed to cheer me on as I hesitated. And someone who will always be grateful as a guide to what it truly means to be a Rotarian. And for this, I've named Jim our most valuable player. He's our, yeah. He's our MVP of the year, so I can just show this to everybody there. So that we can give that to him when we see him. Okay, well, I've got myself into a bit of a pickle here because there's so many people that I would like to thank beyond those who have already done so. But I cannot thank everybody, but I'm going to go through a few. To Judy, for your leadership of the Roundabout Committee, thank you so much. Joy Harder, for all the work you did. Lance Eberly, for your spectacular work as District Governor. Lauren Snyder and Joy, who relaunched RILA this year and led programming for the Youth Summit at the District Conference. Jim Sims and Patrick Smith, who led our DEI efforts, which are blossoming right now. Kyla Cox-Deckard, who handled the Economic Outlook panel with such professionalism. Amy Osajima, who led our Scholarship Committee, and so many others. There's no way that I can thank everybody for everything that you've all done this year. But I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being willing to lead, volunteer, and share your expertise within the spirit of Ubuntu. Okay, so not least, I want to thank Natalie Blaze. Woohoo! Natalie, you have to come here. Natalie Blaze is our fearless club administrator who trained me for my presidency, who trains many presidents, as you well know, who continues to lead the way in so many ways, and who always is there to support and even reject our crazy ideas. So Natalie, I have a box of chocolates from Blue Boy, which is a token of my thanks. Okay, Natalie is amazing. What would we do here without Natalie, I tell you? I simply don't know how we would survive. And so now before I hand the podium over to Ron, here's something I'd like to share. You ready for it? To Ron Barnes, a leader so wise and bold, president of Rotary Club, stories yet untold. From Indiana University to Chicago, education sphere, now retired, your impact continues crystal clear. Create hope in the world with each step you take. As president, your legacy, a path to make. With a heart that's kind and a spirit that's bright, inspire change, let hope's beacon ignite. Through service projects large and small, touch lives, make a difference for all, provide shelter to those in need, empower dreams, plant the hope seed. So step forward with courage and grace, embrace this journey, your destined place. The Bloomington Rotary Club stands tall with Ron Barnes as the beacon of it all.
Sally's going to help me with the next part of this program. So past President Sally Gaskell and I have a few things for Alon.
Indeed, we do. I am no longer the immediate past president. Okay, great. All right. Thanks to Natalie Blaze, who is very creative, we are now going to try something new in our quest to honor a lamb. This is a three-part recognition ceremony. Please turn your attention to the brown paper bag in the middle of your table while I call up 4 professional conductors who happen to be members of our club. Can I please have Henry Leck, Wilson Shatandi, Ruth Boschkoff, and Mary Getzy to the front, please. We are now going to become the Rotary Club of Bloomington Kazoo Orchestra. And with the 4 conductors here to help me, because I am a terrible kazoo player, we are going to, all of us, perform for He's a Jolly Good Fellow. Now, for those of you on Zoom, do you have one, Wilson? Wilson needs a kazoo. For those of you on Zoom, you are, of course, ready to follow along. Now, I have learned as a very bad kazoo player that kazoo playing is not about singing or blowing. It's about humming. So let's all hum the melody or sing if you'd rather to the tune that we have selected. Now, Mary, can you please give us an E flat? All right, let's do this. I can't do it. Oh, I put the wrong end. We've all got the first note. Will you conduct us, Henry? Thank you all. Thank you all. I think one time through is enough. You may be seated. Thank you for your support. Now we've had our fun, and I turn over the mic briefly back to Ron.
There's a very important item that I get to do, and that is to pin our past president with his new past president's pin, which also has a diamond in it. So, hey, life is good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We have
Thank you,
one,
everybody.
one other task.
Take this.
We have one other task to roll out the new flag for the year from our Rotary International president. And I'll talk more about this in a second, but to create hope in the world.
Can I just quickly mention one thing? And for those of you who feel like signing this as you leave today, I would be so grateful. And there are pens up there.
Don't go away. We have several things here. Again, your leadership has astounded us all. We've just had a great year under your leadership, and it makes it very difficult shoes for me to follow. So he set a standard that I'm going to work very hard to be able to live up to. But this is President Bloomington Rotary Club, Alon Barker, Imagine Rotary.
Wow. That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's really great.
Thank you. Thank you. Ron, and for the final part of our recognition, Alan, we want to honor your extraordinary year as our president with something that's personal to you and unique to you. The Nelson Mandela Foundation is located in Cape Town, South Africa, where you went to university. And when I attended the Rotary International Convention in Melbourne last month, I heard the Rotary CEO, John Hugo, talk about the Mandela Foundation as a trusted Rotary partner. So I started looking into it, and it seemed to me that the foundation's founding principles are ideals that you, Alan, hold especially close to heart, including convening dialogue around critical social issues, including particular issues regarding human rights and democracy, in order to contribute to a just society, the promotion of, engaging in philosophical activities, including discussions regarding issues pertaining to human rights and democracy, and of course, the creation, establishment, and preservation of a center of memory about Mr. Mandela. So the club will be making a donation of $100 from its coffers to the Mandela Foundation in your honor. But that's not all, because that seat gift has been matched by dozens and dozens of your fellow Rotarians. And we will be making in your honor to the Nelson Mandela Foundation a gift of $2,500. Thank you.
I'm going to take just a few minutes to kind of introduce myself. It's not a classification speech, but I think you deserve to know kind of the roots and background of your next president. I grew up in Iowa in a small town, and the advantage of going to a small high school, you could be involved in a lot of things. I participated in 3 sports. I was editor-in-chief of the school newspaper, and I participated in the school plays. I went to the University of Iowa, University of Northern Iowa, and of course, IU. I have a BA in business, a master's in educational leadership, and a doctorate in secondary education. I was a teacher, an assistant principal, a principal of a large high school at age 29. It was the second largest high school in Illinois at the time. I had 7 assistants that all wanted the job, so it took me a while to convince them that I could be their leader. I then was asked to serve as superintendent in a large school district in suburban Chicago that covered 7 cities, the southwest part of Cook County. I joined Rotary when I was a high school principal in Moline, so I could participate with community leaders and get to know them. That outreach was an absolute asset for me as a high school principal. I was asked to join the IU School of Education by Don Warren, who was dean in 1994, to lead the Indiana School Executive Leadership Academy and teach courses in preparing principals in leadership. I found it a lot easier to teach leadership than to be a leader. I'm married to my wife, Cheryl, for 58 years. We have 2 children, 6 grandchildren, and my God, 1 great-grandchild. I want to share with you, and Tyler, if you put it up, my vision for this year. I think it's only fair that we move forward and continue Alon's leadership. To expand membership, to be expand our community service footprint in our area. Charlotte talked about it in her reflection today. We need to be able to be a part of this community. We're not a knife and fork club. We're a service orientation club. So we want to expand membership, obviously be fiscally sound, and maintain quality meeting programs thanks to Michael and his committee. Following the new Rotary International President's goal of bringing hope to the world, we want to push polio to the finish line. We want to foster peace. We want to expand our knowledge and service in the area of mental health. A lot of the issues affecting this country today are mental health related issues, and I think we can have a position here, but also create a welcoming experience for our Rotarians. And then again, follow our new district governor's goal of having Rotary glow and grow. What does she mean? We need to glow to our community. We need to show our community what we're all about, but we also want to grow. And then as a part of having fun, I want to continue our family and fellowship events on a quarterly basis. I remember when I was in the club back early or late 1990s, we used to go to Oliver Winery once a year. That was a great program. We'd like to continue some of those things and hope that the fellowship committee will extend that. Obviously, I've talked about this before, but I do want to hold a strategic planning session with the board and the committee chairs. We'll probably do this in September, but I would like to see the direction come from you guys, from the membership, from the chairs. Because you know what? If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. And I think it's time, and Michael Shermis has volunteered to lead us through a strategic planning activity. He's great at it, and we'll dust off the one that was done several years ago, but also add to it the 22-23 reflections from the membership. I want to talk to you just a second about the expanded vision. I also want to do fireside chats. We used to have them in the club that I was in. It's a good way to get to know people, but orient new members to what Rotary is all about. I would like to also expand our contributions to the Rotary International Foundation and increase the number of Paul Harris Fellows. I know that Peggy and her committee has done an outstanding job in that arena, but I think back to my own sustaining membership. That was a paltry amount that was given every quarter. I want to add that, increase it, so that we can all look at what we're giving with our quarterly dues and see if we can increase that. And of course, to follow Joy's terms, we should have fun. And I look forward to that. As leadership, I want to be a servant leader. What does that mean? It means serving the club and its members to allow them to be great Rotarians. So my goal is to help you be the best possible Rotarian you can be. I want the committee structure to work alive and well, and 88 of you as of today have signed up for committees. And again, work with the committee chairs so that we can flourish in that area. I want to help new Rotarians understand Rotary. I think it took me a good year as a new Rotarian back in 1974 to understand what Rotary was all about. My dad was a Rotarian, but he never told me much about it. As Charlotte said, it was kind of an old men's club then. I want many of our new members to feel welcome and a part of the organization. And with that, it's a pleasure to serve you and try to follow the lead of Alon in the great job that he did. And I look forward and I'm honored to be your Rotary president. Thank you very much. Thank you. Some club announcements. First of all, the Rotary Book Club, which is going to be Wednesday, the 19th of July at Liz Feidel's home. We'll have this in the roundabout, but mark this on your calendar. Her address is 4218 North Emma Drive in Bloomington. And the book is going to be People from Bloomington by Buddy, is it Dharma? So it looks like an exciting book, and I hope that you can mark that particular date, July 19th, on your calendar. Now, we have a drawing. Each year, each quarter, we draw, and you'll notice this is the new Rotary hat that talks about creating hope in the world. And I'm going to walk down and have Charlotte draw the name out for the next organization that we will be funding through the presentation of our speakers. Drum roll, please. We will be funding Stone Belt for this next quarter. Congratulations, Stone Belt. We have some birthdays in July. First, Byron Bankert, July 7th. Joyce Poling, 4th of July. And Paul Hazel, July 14th. And we have some member anniversaries. Past President John Dilts, 25 years. Mike Wade, 6 years. And as we acknowledge people today, of course, Tyler, for our producer and our Zoom host, Kyla Cox-Decker, our greeter, Gene Hurley, and obviously introducing guests and doing a very great job with it, Tracy Jovanovich, and Sarah Laughlin, who's adding more hours to her service by being our roundabout reporter today. Next meeting will be back in the Georgian room, simply because this room is not available. We're going to try to stay in this room as many meetings as we can. Our meeting speaker will be Linda Grove Paul from Cornerstone. She's the Vice President of Adult Services. Centerstone, I'm sorry, I can't even read my own notes. Thank you. But now I think it's time for our four-way test. And we put it up, Tyler. Let's stand for the four-way test. The four-way test. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, is it fun? I wanted to get to the fun part right away.